scheduled meeting to start with a roll call, please.
Commissioner Patton,
Here.
Commissioner Barwick,
Here.
Commissioner Webb,
Here.
Commissioner Stecklin,
Here.
Mayor Absher.
Here. If you guys would join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please. You standing up, Commissioner Barwick? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
States of America.
Republic for which it stands, one nation, under
Nation, under God.
with liberty and justice for all.
Wow.
That didn't work too good on my end.
Boy, you sounded good on this end, though.
Okay, this is the difficult part of our new format, so to speak, with people dialing into the meeting. So we're going to try to step through this slowly and carefully so that anybody that's dialed into the council meeting can have a chance to make public comments or be heard to the council. This is our item number 3, public comments and audience to visitors. Our ordinance 3128 still applies, but we will try to give anybody through Cody over there on the phone any opportunity to speak to the council or ask questions. So do we have anybody dialed in, or can we tell on the?
Is there anyone on the public dial-in number that has any comments that they would like to make to the council? No.
No? Ask them one more time, just to be careful.
Are there any public comments for the council?
Okay. That'll take us to the consent agenda. On the item 2 under A, inadvertently, we left the amount off of the agenda. To be clear, what we had discussed one-on-one when I reached out to you as far as the city's donation to Marion United to support our local businesses was $75,000 is what we'd come to consensus on. So that's what I'm asking you to vote on to approve in this consent agenda item number 2. It should read $475,000. So other than that, is there any other changes to this or any other items that any of these items you would like removed from the consent agenda? We've got 4, A, 1 and 2, B1 and C1. Before we can discuss any of those, is there a motion to pass the consent agenda as presented?
I'll make a motion to pass the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, anybody have any questions on any of these items, comments on any of these items? Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Patton,
Yay.
Commissioner Barwick,
Yay.
Commissioner Webb,
Yay.
Commissioner Stecklin,
Abstain.
Mayor Absher.
Yay. Under new business, item 5, the city attorney. I'll explain this first one. We had discussed this, and this was incorporated into the new budget, which you have yet to, it is out for public comment at this point, but we have not enacted it, but is it included as part of our code enforcement reform and part of our bigger plan with having our own city attorney be our prosecutor for these items. She requested a software package in order to help track those things. I don't know if you want to add more to this, but you can see the fees here. I would say this is a pretty, how would you describe this as far a Lincoln? Would you call this a Lincoln? Not a Cadillac, right?
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of top of the line when it comes
Okay.
to case management software. This is kind of the top of the line program, but it's used by prosecuting offices, not just in Oliver, Illinois, but in other parts of the country. They're all over the place. It's a really good program that can be used for not only the case management, but you can run reports with it to track the data, do statistical reports. You can do victim things. There's a lot of things you can do with it. The upfront cost is kind of spendy. That's their license fees essentially that we're paying for mostly. But then the annual maintenance thereafter is just the $1,100.
So it's supported well. I guess got good technical support for the software. Yeah.
Just for our knowledge and maybe any of those that are listening, when you say case management, give us an example of what that means, things that you track that might not be self-evident to us, the kinds of things. For example, most of the things you're doing right now have to do with obviously prosecuting ordinance violations, but they could be something like demolition of a house or something that a property that's fallen into disrepair. So what does that mean in case management and some of those things? Just give an example or two if you don't mind.
Yeah, so it does track civil as well as criminal and traffic cases. So essentially, I could set it up for any type of case, be it the foreclosures, the demolitions, the ordinance violations, traffic cases. So what it is it does require some manual entry at the outset of each case. I would have to go in and input defendant's name, the case information, the attorneys involved, the statutes or ordinance violations that may be violated. I can also scan and enter in all the evidence, photographs, police reports, and basically have everything together in one case file. And then that case file gets tracked from opening all the way to closing, and then it gets saved in there in the case management so that if I ever have another case open with the same defendant, it'll say, it'll show all the prior cases I've had with that same person. It'll show whether that person was listed in a victim in another case, whether they were listed as a witness in another case, and it's just an easy way to track all of that.
The
City of Carbondale does have it. They're very happy with it.
You visited with them to review this, did you not? Or am I, okay.
And I'd actually, Union County State's Attorney's Office uses this, and I had gone down there in years past and seen a demo down there as well, and it's a very good program, I think.
Okay. You guys have any questions of Wendy on this?
I'd make a motion to approve 3-year hosting agreement and contract with Carpel for prosecuting software at an implementation cost of $16,500 with $1,100 in annual maintenance fees. And this is a 2021 budget item and expense.
I would second that.
Any other questions then before we take a vote? Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Patton,
Yay.
Commissioner Barwick,
Yay.
Commissioner Webb,
Yay.
Commissioner Stecklin,
Yay.
Mayor Absher.
Yay. Items B and C, Wendy, if you want to, well, I guess you can just stay where you're at, honestly. I don't know what difference it makes.
I don't know the people on the call can hear her.
Okay, well, why don't you go ahead and come to the podium, just in case. As part, again, this is all part of our reform effort, and this won't be the last thing, but one of the things we asked her to do was look through the city code for any specific modifications that needed to be made. And so I'll just you've got a copy of this that may or may not have a highlighted portions in your packet, but you should have it loose here. I think unintentionally the unhighlighted version got in there maybe at first, or maybe not. But anyway, can you just run through some of these, or you guys have questions you can ask if you'd prefer to do it that way?
So the first one is just kind of the general penalties section of our ordinance, and I really did not make any substantive changes to that at all. It was a few, just a little minor technical changes here and there. I know we're looking at getting some new citations, some new tickets for our code enforcement officers to use. So there was a few little changes that I made in addition to those. Other than that, it was just little wording changes here and there. There really wasn't much change to that section. The majority of changes I made in the general offenses section, and this is just the quasi-criminal general offenses of our code. This is kind of the first step in a series of kind of bulking up some of our city ordinances that we're going to be looking at enforcing a lot more strict than they've been enforced in the past. This is just the Chapter 5 general offenses section. Some of these sections I amended a little bit. Some of them I actually added new. I know the trespass to land was a completely new section that was not there prior.
Which one?
Trespass to land.
Oh, yeah.
Some of the other, I think, like the assault and battery was already in there, but it was previously in a different, it was mixed in with the disturbing the peace. It's now kind of in its own section, so it stands out a little more. The resisting was also in there, but it was kind of off in its own little section somewhere else. I've added it in so that everything kind of has a nice flow. I think it'll be easier for our officers hopefully to kind of read and then look at as well when they need to reference the code. But the changes I made are the ones that are highlighted, so if you don't have a highlighted copy, I can get you a copy. But as he said, this is kind of the first of many changes. Besides these, and I doubt this will be the first time we amend the general offenses, I'm sure after a while I'll be getting with Chief Fitz and kind of see what's working and what's not working with some of our police officers and some of the changes that they might be helpful for them. But I am also looking at the nuisance ordinances and making some changes to those, as well as potentially some of the traffic sections of our code as well.
Okay. Assuming we pass this tonight, I will ask that you get both the ordinances that we pass in this highlighted form. I would like you to put these on the website tomorrow as passed with the highlights in them, just for good governance, so that people can see exactly what changed
Yes,
here.
There will be a publishing requirement because specifically the ordinance with like the new trespass to land, because it is something that's brand new. I believe there's a publishing requirement that I think Tammy will have to publish, and it will actually not go into effect until, off the top of my head, I want to say it's 10 days from the publishing date is when it will actually go into effect. That way to give the public time to realize that there is actually a new.
Right, but I'm just saying is these highlights are just useful for somebody to glance at and just see just how actually little, this one's not that much that's changing. It's just some technical things in here for the most part.
Right, there was, and of course, with the new recreational cannabis laws, I did have to change a lot of our sections on that, some portions of our section on that, because we do have ordinances against possession of cannabis as well, so I had to make sure those were updated to compare with the new law.
Okay. You guys have any questions of Wendy specifically on either of these?
Wendy, I'm just trying to wrap my head around, what the purpose of all this is. To summarize it, basically what we're doing is we're trying to streamline our processes to allow us quicker relief or quicker, whatever you want to call it, in our enforcement of a dilapidated structure or whatever it might be. Because otherwise, we have to go through the court system.
This will still go through the court system for now, so these tickets specifically are tickets that will be issued by the police department.
Okay,
So they'll be issued on their uniform citation forms, and they will be filed with the courthouse, with the circuit clerk's office, and they will be prosecuted as ordinance violations.
okay,
So essentially, the way I look at these, I mean, not only is this a way for the city to kind of encourage non-criminal behavior, but I look at this as another tool in our law enforcement's toolbox that, especially with all the things going on right now, a lot of agencies are being encouraged not to just arrest for anything and everything. So this is another tool that our law enforcement officers will have when some of these offenses have been committed, or they suspect that they've been committed, or that these codes have been violated. This is one more avenue that the law enforcement will have to decide, okay, am I gonna arrest them and issue them a citation for a criminal misdemeanor under the state statutes, or do I wanna give them a city ordinance ticket? And that's where some of the discretion of our law enforcement officers will come into play, as far as using their common sense to decipher what the situation might call for.
okay.
Well, before everything went through the state's attorney's office, then, right, or
Correct.
basically, so, okay.
Well, and some of this on this second ordinance, what's the number here? 3610 on the city code, for example, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but make sure I understand it. It's like 655, trespass to land. That's a new part. Now, obviously, trespass is a long codified state statute, but we didn't have it specifically codified in our own ordinance so that a police officer could write an ordinance violation for trespass. He could write a state ticket for that, correct? But we didn't have that as a ordinance of our own. And so she's trying to incorporate a lot of things that probably should have been in there before And I think that falls a lot of these other categories like vandalism and these other things. It's not that they couldn't ticket for them before, it's what they can ticket them under, whether that's a state statute for vandalism or that's a local ordinance that she can prosecute versus just turning it over to a state's attorney to try to prosecute amongst the other tickets. Am I saying that all right? So,
So the software that we just bought, is there a tie between what we're doing here and
Yes.
that software?
So essentially, this all ties into the ultimate goal of enhancing our city court process and the enforcement of our city code.
Yeah,
We've always had somewhat of enforcement of some of our, I know everybody knows about our grass codes and, you know, some of the other things that we've posted for. People have seen the signs in their yards for their grass, or they've gotten the hangers on their door for their garbage, things like that. But there's so many other things that we could be using and enforcing. And like I said, this is just another tool that we'll have not only with law enforcement, with code enforcement officers as well, when we get into some of the nuisance ordinances and things like that, that I think is just another way to enhance public safety and try to encourage people to behave themselves out there and just make Marion a better place for people to enjoy living.
that answer your questions?
Mm-hmm.
You guys have any other questions? And to that point, we haven't tackled the nuisance part of this, but yet.
I'm
But
working on that part.
Yeah.
where you're going, I think, if I can anticipate something, so picture we are going down that road, which we will soon. The software that we choose to run that department, we hope, instead of the way that we're doing it now, which is basically they have to write a novelette every time they visit a property, this would be something more akin to a checkbox thing of what ordinance, what section of the code would be violated.
Right.
And it would sort of generate the report and the violation of itself. Right now, the officers that are in code enforcement are spending anywhere from 30 to sometimes 45 minutes, I think, every time they go and visit a property, just creating basically a little report in Word. Very inefficient, very cost inefficient.
Right.
Costs us far more to do it that way than the software will ever cost. That doesn't really, although you have combined their ordinance you've redone their ordinance violation tickets too, right? Is that what will incorporate this?
That's the new
You're
tool
working on
we're
that now?
on trying to get, yeah.
Okay. To make that process easier for the police officers, there's really two different silos here of this stuff. There's the police, public safety ordinances that have to be dealt with, and then there's the nuisance and code, other building code violations, property code violations that'll have to be dealt with. But hopefully all of that will gear up better to the software that we end up using, which if you use just the code part, that 45 or 30 minutes per report, that alone will pay for the software and make them, more importantly, make them available to go out there and inspect yet another property or follow up on one. That's where we're getting all bunched up right now.
Right.
Is that stuff. So we're trying to head all that
Yeah.
same direction.
Eventually, everything's gonna mesh together
Yes.
and work together.
Yes.
Which is obviously our ultimate goal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Doug, do you remember previous council, we discussed like having a city court too, I think at one time. I guess that's even to be a third leg to this, I guess, at some point in time.
We can discuss that when you're ready, maybe at another meeting. I don't know, we're prepared to discuss. We're still trying to learn some things on that. There's a couple of different ways that we can go. We're not 100% convinced that's the most efficient way for us to go at this point, meaning that we have to set up a separate, court, if you will, whether that's done here or some other building like the courthouse. But we also have asked, as I understand, the circuit court to consider a city court day or session, which would not only be for us, but would be for the other municipalities in the county, which I think they're supportive of. If we can get, if the court, of course, everything's really messed up right now, as you can imagine, but nobody's making any long-term decisions at the moment. But if they'll all kind of do that same thing, That would actually be far more efficient, we think, right, for us than trying to recreate even the municipal court
Right.
part.
Right.
I think
And-
it would be much more cost effective.
Yeah.
And I know the judge, that we spoke to, he was very open to that, but he kind of wanted to play it by ear, see just how many tickets we are going to be writing. Of course, with all this going on, we're really not doing a whole lot. The courthouse isn't doing a whole lot right now. But once all this COVID-19 stuff is over and everything hopefully gets back up going again, he kind of wanted to get a sense of just how many tickets we are writing, how many cases we are doing on a regular basis before we talk about setting a
Yeah.
court setting.
The point, I think, the main point is efficiency. That's the number one point, not just for the court system, but for the constituents too. They need to know when the police officer writes a ticket, they need to know when their court appearance is, so they can write that on the citation. That's not able, as I understand it, to be done all the time right now, or
The tickets that the law, the
they
police
do,
department use, they do.
not code enforcement.
Right, and that's why I'm working on getting new tickets made for our code enforcement, which would also apply to our animal control.
Okay. Animal, well, that's really falls under your department too, right? The other part though, which, see, we thought, for example, Carbondale had their own municipal court, but, and I think they even told me that, but they actually don't. They're operating off of what we just described. They have more of a consolidated court date within the county circuit court already, right? Or county court already. So, anyway, that's the example.
But I was amazed at the number of cases that they have their city court, I believe it's every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks, they have, their city court, it's every other Wednesday. And, I mean, the size of their docket, the number of cases that they are prosecuting on a regular basis just amazed me at how many tickets their officers are writing and how many cases they are prosecuting on a regular basis. So there's a lot more we could really be doing.
And again, I just feel like I have to state for posterity, at least in the sense of the code, the nuisance and building code stuff, our demeanor moving forward is going to be far more in compliance than it is citing people, but that is always something that we can and may have to do. But as part of this process that she's outlining, whether that's a municipal court process or whether it is a city day within the county court process, part of the goal, other than efficiency for the constituent and efficiency for the prosecutor, which in either case would be Wendy, is the opportunity for a constituent to be able to pay their fine and not have to appear in court.
Right.
That you don't want to force somebody to take a day off of work to defend themselves and pay a fine if they don't have to. And that's, I think, even in the towns that you've benchmarked, that's a vast majority of those tickets are paid that way. So either way, we work towards it working for everybody involved, including the constituents. And again, the goal is not necessarily to ticket people. The goal is to get compliance with whatever it is that we're seeking to enforce. So, okay, I don't think we have a motion yet on.
I would make a motion that we would approve ordinance 3609, amending the criminal offense section of the city code.
Second that.
Okay, any other further discussion? And again, Terrence, tomorrow, I know what the publishing requirement is, but we'll see that we get this to you, this highlighted portion, so that people can, both of these ordinances, so that we can be conspicuous with that. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Patton?
Yay.
Commissioner Barwick?
Yay?
Commissioner Webb?
Yay.
Commissioner Stecklin?
Yay.
Mayor Absher?
Yay. Okay, similarly, we would need a motion on 3610, which is the fine section.
Make a motion to approve 3610, which is amending the fine section of the city code.
Second that.
Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Patton?
Yay.
Commissioner Barwick?
Yay?
Commissioner Webb?
Yay.
Commissioner Stecklin?
Yay.
Mayor Absher?
Yay. All right, item 6 is Street Department, A through D. Doug, do you want to, I know the first one's pretty self-explanatory. We had a mower that broke down. What are these other, or you or Glenn, either one, but these 3 resolutions for maintenance under the highway code for the asphalt program? Can you just run us through what those are, and are these routine, or they sound like big amounts of money? I just want to make sure.
B and C were, we went over our resolution amount for motor fuel tax, and because of engineering, it came
Okay.
already been paid.
Okay.
So this isn't money that'll be taken out again. Just asking for a supplemental resolution to go ahead and adopt that the way it is, so that we don't have to change monies.
Okay. And D?
D is our annual motor fuel tax, asphalt program, HMA program. And we're asking to adopt that resolution for that amount of money to be, adopted for, resolution adopted for the asphalt program.
And we spend a similar amount of this each year, correct, on asphalt?
That's just MFT, there'll be other money spent on gas tax and road and bridge.
Correct.
Okay. You see any reason that B, C, and D we couldn't read as one motion and approve all three resolutions? Okay, A needs to be as a separate one. That's a non-budgeted item. But you are using gas tax for that, correct? Somebody want to,
Make a motion to approve the recommendation of the street superintendent to approve the bid of little tractor at $12,479 for replacement of a mower due to breakdown. This is a non-budget item using the gas tax funds.
I'll second that.
Doug, did we have 2 or 3 bids on that one? I don't remember.
We have two, and the way that works is because it's a municipal bid for a mower, every price is the same amount.
Oh.
There's no
Okay.
prices there, so we went with the local business here.
Got it. Okay, we had a motion and a second?
Yes.
Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Patton?
Yay?
Commissioner Barwick?
Yay?
Commissioner Webb?
Yay.
Commissioner Stecklin?
Yay.
Mayor Absher?
Yay. All right, if whoever wants to read these, I think can just read all 3 together as one motion. If you
Okay,
don't
I'd
mind.
also make a adopt a resolution, a motion to adopt a resolution 2020-13, which is supplemental resolution for maintenance under the Illinois Highway Code for 2018, the amount of $44,490.83. Along with that is a resolution 2020-14, which is a supplemental resolution for maintenance under the Illinois Highway Code for 2019 at $54,035.68. And also resolution 2020-15, which is the resolution for maintenance under the Illinois Highway Code for 2020. And that is for the city's asphalt resurfacing program. And that's at a cost of $621,500.
Second that motion.
Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Patton?
Abstain?
Commissioner Barwick?
Yay?
Commissioner Webb?
Yay.
Commissioner Stecklin?
Yay.
Mayor Absher?
Yay. Item 7A is the Southern or Southeastern Illinois Economic Development Authority sent me an email sometime back asking for us to see, I guess every municipality, every governmental unit has a certain amount of bonding authority, and we never anywhere close to get close to our bonding authority, and so we can cede. Is that the correct term?
There's 2 types of bonding authority, public and private. And this is the private side. So on the public side, we can borrow up to $10 million a year. You rarely ever get close to that, and so this would be in addition to that $10 million. And over the last 3 or 4 years, we've done this exact action. The council's done this exact action and ceded this private bonding authority over to this private organization. So that's what they're asking for again this year.
You recall doing that in the past
Yes.
with them? Okay. It was new to me, so I had to figure out what it was.
I believe the wording on 7A, just whoever makes the motion, we need to make sure that that's correct. So I think
What do you think it should?
it says Southeastern Illinois Economic, and this should be Southern Illinois Economic,
I
right?
think you're right.
Because I believe there is a Southeastern.
I think you're correct. Well, the first letter, or the first line in the letter says Southeastern.
They provide the letter? Okay.
You're exactly right.
Well, let's,
Interesting.
Let's just say,
Is SIEDA, Southern Illinois Economic Development Authority, under the umbrella of
SI.
SIDA?
Yeah, so this is specifically to SIEDA.
Because I think when I was doing my research, the SIEDA is out of Metropolis, I believe, but I don't quote me on that.
The Southeastern Regional Planning and Development Commission's out of Harrisburg. I think that's
This is to SIEDA specifically.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, since you got it down, you read the motion.
Make a motion to approve ordinance 3608, authorizing the ceding of private activity bonding authority to the Southeastern Illinois Economic Development Authority.
I'll second.
I would second that.
Too late, Barwick.
Delayed.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Patton,
Yay.
Commissioner Barwick,
Yay.
Commissioner Webb,
Yay.
Commissioner Stecklin,
Yay.
Mayor Absher.
Yay. Under Commissioner reports, Commissioner Stecklin, we'll start with you since you were in the peanut gallery tonight down
All
there.
right. During this time of quarantine, the water department's been very busy taking care of the needs. Things still go on. We renewed 14 services from March 24th to April 13th. Had 3 leak repairs. All of the meters have now been changed except for those services that need upgraded. From March 16th until today, the water office has received 64 new deposits for a total of $6,800, which means possible new customers to the city. We also had 243 Julie locates from March 1st to the 31st. So it's very busy even in these tough times, and thanks to all the citizens for understanding. That's all I've got.
You have anything?
Nope.
Just a reminder, spring cleanup schedule for this spring, April 20th and 21st is a southeast section of Marion. April 22nd, 23rd will be the northeast section. April 24th, we'll recanvass the east section. Then April 27th, 28th is in the northwest section. April 29th and April 30th is the southwest section. And on May 1st, we will recanvass the west sections. I'll let Doug talk just a little. He's going to do something a little different this year. So.
I got with the Coast Director, Tim Stotler.
Doug, go ahead and go to this microphone if you don't mind, please. Oh, yeah, you're right.
Hello, got it now? Tim Stotler, Coast Director, and myself got together today, and we came and met with the mayor, Absher, and we also got with Commissioner Jim Webb, and we thought with everybody being home, that we would revise our pickup limits a little bit on what we would pick up. We're still asked that you don't exceed what 2 men can pick up, but we're gonna take tires, and we're gonna take care of them in-house, and the furniture and construction material and stuff, try to limit that, but work with us that what 2 men can pick up and what we can load with the machine. We're gonna try to help clean up some of the blighted areas in Marion while we're doing this cleanup, and we've got the men to do it. So bear with us and try to box and bag things that you can, and pile it on the curb where 2 men and a piece of machinery can get it. So we're hoping that'll we can extend this a little bit and help clean up some of the places in Marion that people can't get to during a work week and when they're off. So
See how it goes.
yeah, I hope it does. I think it will. We appreciate all the help we can get.
Yeah, thank you, Doug.
Commissioner Barwick, Police Chief handed me your reports. Do you mind if I read them?
No, go ahead. I've got them, but that's,
Oh, you do? Okay, I'm sorry. Does he?
He doesn't have it. He just has the one.
Which one?
He has the top one.
This top one? This one?
Yes, sir.
Activity report.
go
Okay.
ahead, sir, and read them if
No, apparently you've got the top one. I've got the narcotics unit one and the investigation unit one. So if you want to read the first one there.
yeah, go ahead. I don't have those other 2.
What do you want to read the first one?
Okay. For the month of March 2020, city ordinance violations were 23. Warrant arrests were 28. Incidents reported 300. Traffic accidents 87. There were 5 DUI arrests. There were 4,523 dispatched calls. 2,528 911 calls, and 197 ambulance calls for the month of March.
Do you normally read all of these every week? You do, really? Okay. Once a month. Okay, so on the narcotics unit, in again the same period, March 1st through the 31st of this year, of course, there's 21 case initiations, 13 arrests, 4 search warrants, 1 narcotics enforcement directed patrol, 6 controlled drug purchase of crystal methamphetamine, 4 confidential sources interviewed or utilized, 4 overhear or eavesdropping orders prepared and granted, 44.72 grams of crystal ice methamphetamine, I assume seized, 1.65 grams of powder cocaine seized, 18.5 pounds of cannabis seized. There was also miscellaneous items recovered during these investigations of a stolen flat screen television from a burglary that occurred in the City of Marion, and a stolen police officer's badge from a nearby municipality. Wow, I bet that was a popular one to return. In the detective unit, same time period, 8 cases of residential burglary or business burglary, 1 case of child abuse or neglect, 5 counterfeit currency cases, 4 criminal defacement of property cases, 1 death investigation, 1 deceptive practice case, 1 forgery case, 1 fraud case, 3 cases of missing persons, 3 cases of recovered property, 2 of retail thefts, 4 cases of sex offense, 9 cases of theft of motor vehicle, 5 cases of theft over, what is that amount? Is there an amount that's? Okay, so felonious theft, I guess you would say this was 9 cases, or 5 cases, pardon me, 3 non-felonious theft cases, 3 unlawful use of weapons, 3 vehicle burglary. So that's 57 total cases that the detective unit handled for the month. And just, I know I'm going to say this publicly just because I said it to you privately, and I hope you passed on my congratulations to the officers that were involved, but there have been a couple of particular cases that I was tangentially involved in that started out in a different area altogether of responsibility that ended up with a pretty big drug bust and huge amount of drugs were taken off the street, I believe. Am I characterizing that correctly?
A large amount was taken off, but I think where the little miscommunication between you and I was.
Okay.
Is the guy that we arrested, in his interview, he laid over 100 pounds of sales that he has made on himself.
I see. Okay. Well, regardless, there's pretty big fish in our little pond, and started out with something completely different that we were trying to get handled with non-police related code enforcement, and yielded that. So, and I appreciate that. Normally, those departments don't always communicate and talk about the things that are common between them, and that one worked out really well. So. Do you have something else, Doug?
Yeah, I had one thing here. I'd failed to mention our revised list will be on the city website, and I think Tammy's also going to publish in the paper again. We're midterm here on trying to get it out, but the list will be revised and published. So on the cleanup item.
You just talking about the items?
Yes.
Okay, we'll have that on the website too,
yes,
right?
Yes. So if anybody wants to go there and view it, they can see what we've changed.
Okay.
Thank you.
Can I ask Doug a question?
Sure.
Are there any recycling centers open right now, or any places?
County's not, is it?
No, they said today that they were not.
Everything is shut down?
We really need to do something relative to our own recycling pickup. It's either not being picked up according to the I don't know what it is, the schedule, or we just aren't paying enough times for them to pick it up, but we've got to correct that. And the one that's most visible to me is the library because I pass it often, but I don't know what we have to do about that, or if it's just a matter of us subscribing to more pickups or what, but I guess the same. I haven't noticed that behind here though as much. It's mainly the library that gets used so much. But just lastly, just because it segues to this comment, as far as overall commissioner reports, mine being included at this point, I just want to say that particularly as we have contemplated a new codes enforcement director, which, by the way, we have renamed Building Codes and Services, right? Dang it, I got it wrong again. Say it again, so I got it right. Building and Codes Services. It sounded a whole lot better to me than code enforcement. And so that's what we decided to name that department. But nonetheless, as Tim Stotler is coming on board with that, even though he is not officially, I guess, till May 4th, he was in my office, as Doug mentioned this morning, with Doug talking about this issue because it connects with what he wants to try to get accomplished in short order. So Doug's working with him already. The police department's working with the same department on these other issues that it's working really well. And I really appreciate all the departments talking together. Wendy is in everybody's consultation, I think, all day long. And that's a great resource to have. We appreciate you and all that you bring to each department. And I know you guys appreciate having somebody to go to and accessible all the time. So I assume you do. And haven't heard one bad thing about you in the entire time you've been here. So I don't know what you're doing right, but that's pretty good in city government, or in any government for that matter. I do want to announce also under miscellaneous, before we entertain either an executive session or adjournment, we are planning a special meeting this Friday, and there's a reason that we need to do it Friday. We have had, first round is 9 DCEO grant applications. This is for the stabilization grant that the Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity has. The cities have to fill these out, and Cody and Celeste Sollers with the county has done an extraordinary job, to the extent I think ours will be the first applications in the state of Illinois, by the way. And this is only round one of them. But we have to do this on the 17th. That's Friday. And we have resolutions to read and to pass that enable us to do this. And there's been a process. They've had to be published in the paper and the whole deal. So that's what mainly Friday is about. I'm also, if we can get it done, and I think we will, our workman's comp insurance is up for renewal May 1st. We are rapidly putting the touches on the last quotes that we have. And if we get that, and I think we will, you'll have that in your packet also by Wednesday, and we would ask you to entertain those bids on this Friday since we're going to be meeting anyway. The reason being is that we've got quite a big regular meeting coming up, the second meeting of this month, with passing of the budget and so forth. So we're just trying to alleviate some of that log jam with that to leave more time for the budget if needed. So that's coming at you. Be looking at that. That meeting will be Friday. At the hearing that we have to have is at 3:00. Our special meeting will be at 3:15. So we'll also be entertaining call-in questions and things like that for both the hearing and the regular meeting, just like we have tonight. So any questions on that? Do any of you have a reason to meet in executive session? I have none tonight.
I don't.
No, if not, we would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make the motion to adjourn.
I'll second that motion.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Patton.
Yay.
Commissioner Barwick.
Yay.
Commissioner Webb.
Yay.
Commissioner Stecklin.
Yay.
Mayor Absher.
Yay.